Alright, so the first thing we're going to need to do to get TextMesh working is we're going to need to make sure we have these 3 accounts made, and you should have them. You should be at the dashboard, so you should be signed up and ready to go. So first thing we're going to do is go to our Zapier dashboard, and then we're going to create a Zap. So I already have one set up, but I'm just going to make it from scratch again. So we're going to click Make a Zap. And from here you can basically, the first thing we want, our trigger is going to be a webhook. And what this will allow us to do is send our data that comes in via text message, and then we can forward it to basically any of the integrations that Zapier has, which is over 1,000 different apps. So you have tons of different options for what you can do with your data. So we're going to want a catch hook, click save and continue. And then what we need to do is give it a sample, some sample data so that it knows what the format is going to be. So we're going to copy and paste this, and then you're going to want to open Replit in a new tab. And then from here we can just paste that code in. This is our webhook, and we're also going to want to go down and grab this short little bit of code here. And this is basically put this webhook URL in this variable, and then we're just going to click run. And you can see it should get status success, and if we go back to here and click OK, and now we have our sample data. You can see email, and it also pulls in the phone number that sent it. So then we can just click continue. And now we can pick our action step. So for me, I'm going to use MailChimp, which is my email service provider, but really you have tons of different options. If you scroll down, you could do, for example, a Google Sheet. If you just want to send it the email and phone number to a Google Sheet, you can then, it basically just show up as a new row. But we're going to use MailChimp here. And if you search through, you can add, there's pretty much any email service provider is going to be available. We're going to do add/update subscriber, save and continue. You can see I already have this connected. If you don't, it'll give you a short little process to do that. It's really easy. They have automatic sign up, so you don't really even have to do much. So now next step. So now here you can choose various lists. So if you have multiple lists, you can choose which one you want to send it to. And this is probably the most important thing, subscriber email. So you can see it gives you, from the catch hook, it has the data listed here. So obviously for the subscriber email, you're going to check this email field. And then if you want double opt-in, you can do that. You can also do update existing. So you can do yes or no. And you have groups, all these different options. But for now, what are we missing here? Oh, we didn't do the list. So yeah, so you just, the only 2 required are these, and then you have a bunch of optional stuff. So we're going to continue. And then you can either do you can send a test, and then you can go to your MailChimp account and verify that the data got added to the list properly, but we're just going to skip. And then click finish. And then all you have to do is name it, and your Zap is created. Alright, so the next thing we're going to want to do is head to our Google Cloud account, and you should be on the dashboard here. You should have it automatically sets up your first project. You can create a custom one if you want, but it'll be the same regardless. So we're going to scroll down to compute and then cloud functions. We're going to click on that. And basically what this function does is, instead of having to run a web server and deal with a bunch of stuff, it basically, Google handles all that in the background, and all we have to do is paste in some code and it'll handle everything for us. So just click to enable this API, and we're going to create a function. And while we wait for that, we can come in here and we're just going to want to paste or copy all this inside this little paste bin. So just Control C, and then go back to our cloud function, and then we can name it whatever we want. It really doesn't matter. We're just going to call it text TextMesh tutorial. And we're going to give it 512 megabytes of memory, and you can't have any spaces, so we can just do like that. And then we're going to switch this to Python 3.7, and then just delete all that code, delete that, and then paste with Control V. And then we also need to grab our requirements. So just delete this, those comments out of there, and what we want to put in here is flanker, Twilio, and requests. And then we also want to change this function to execute. We want to change it to Twilio lead gen, so just copy that, paste there. And then what we're going to need to do here is we're also going to add some environment variables. So that we have to go to our Twilio account. So let's scroll up, and we're also going to grab this right here. We'll need that for our Twilio callback. So make sure you copy and paste that. And we're going to go to our Twilio dashboard. Now, I'm not sure how the onboarding process has changed, if they automatically walk you through getting a phone number. But if not, you're going to go to, click to this little thing to expand the menu, and we're going to go to phone numbers. And if you don't have a phone number in here, you can just click by, and you can choose by area code or any of that stuff. It allows you a couple of ways to specify where you want your number to be and what capabilities it has. And then once you have that, you'll just click on it. Once we're in here, we're going to scroll down to messaging, and then you're going to want to configure when a message comes in, you're going to want to paste this Google Cloud Function URL in there. And that will basically, when it gets a text message, it'll redirect it to this function. So make sure you grab this URL, otherwise it won't work properly. So once you hit that, you'll just click save. And then the other thing we're going to need from our dashboard is you're going to want to copy and paste our account information so we can authenticate inside the function. So make sure you grab this and also this auth token. Just click view and it'll pop up, and paste those onto a notepad or something like that, so that when we go back over here, we're going to scroll down and we want to add our environment variables. So first you're going to click add, and the first one is going to be the Twilio account SID, which is this one. And the second one you're going to want is, if we add that, is your Twilio auth token. So you're going to paste those values in there, and then you can just click create. So after you click create, it's going to take a few minutes to upload and get that function running, but you should, if you've done all the steps so far, you should have a little green check mark that it's working. But before we test it, we still have to make a few modifications. So just click on this, and it'll pull you to the function dashboard for that specific function we made, and we're going to want to go into the source. So I'll just do a quick walk through the code. The first thing we're going to need to do is specify our phone number, our webhook URL, and then also you can customize your response and the keywords. So we're going to go click edit, and then while that's loading, so what you want to do is this will be the number from your Twilio account. So if you go back to our phone numbers for Twilio, you're going to want to paste in this number, but with no, you're not going to want the +1, you're not going to want the spaces, so it'd just be the 857-214 for me, with no spaces. So if we go in here, you just do your numbers just like that, no spaces, no hash marks, none of that stuff. Then you're also, once you've got that, you're going to want to get that webhook URL. So if you go back to this, we can just copy and paste this, and then paste that in there. And that's basically what you're going to need to make sure everything's hooked up properly. So I go into detail on this on the quick start guide itself, but I'll just go into it a little bit here as well. So basically these are some examples of how you can handle these, handle your keywords and your response. So basically if somebody texted to your phone number up here, example, what would happen is that it would say, once they typed an example and sent it, it would ask them to please enter your email address to verify. And then for this, the response would be email confirmed. Here's a link. So if you wanted to do like a marketing term as a lead magnet, where in return for somebody's email address, you send them some files, you could just write in here, you could send them the link to the file. Another example 2, so if they text example 2 to your number, you could set it up so that, let's say with your Zap, you have a MailChimp integration set up, and you could set up so when people are added to that list, it'll automatically send them an email. So that's one other option. Then if they send test, it'll say thank you for subscribing, and you could send them like a discount code right inside the text message. Instead of creating an autoresponder and all that, you could just do it right in the text, and it basically saves you a little bit of time. Going down, basically what's going to happen here is if they format it incorrectly, it'll let them know, and it'll give them a few times to retry sending a properly formatted email. If not, it'll basically restart them and ask them to send the keyword again. So it's got a little bit of kind of error handling in case they mess up. So if you want to customize this, all you gotta do is go in and say you can delete this and put in whatever keyword you want, and you can also just come in here and delete this out and put in whatever you want in there. The thing you want to make sure, and I have some, again, I cover this in the text tutorial, is that you have to make sure it's wrapped inside these quotation marks. That's what lets Python know that it's a string, and if you don't have those quotations around the end, you'll get an error. If you have multiple keywords, you want to make sure after this second string right here, you want to make sure that you have a comma to let Python know that you're starting a second, what would be called a key value pair in the dictionary. And you have to separate with a colon here. So you have, this is the key, this is your keyword, which TextMesh will listen for, and this is the response. So you have to put a comma to separate the keywords, and then you have a colon in between the keyword and the response here. So that's basically it for this quick tutorial. If you have any questions, just ask in the comments of this video. I'm also open to, if you have any ideas of how to use this, if you have any cool examples of how to use this, I'll have a resources section down here, so that if you want to write a blog post or something and you can get an easy backlink, I'll link to your site with so other people can see how you're using this tool and stuff like that. But like I said earlier, if you get stuck at any point, just comment on the YouTube video and I'll try to help you out and get to those questions as soon as possible. If you have any features that you'd want to added, you can also leave a comment with that. And I'll probably be doing future tutorials and stuff like that as well. So if you want, hit subscribe on the YouTube channel so that you can get updates for that stuff. But for now, that's it. Thanks.